Hey everybody, I'm Burly, and I have never done something like this before. I have decided I'm going to start making some dungeon tiles for tabletop role-playing because they look like awesome tools and props to play with. I've played with them before, but I've never made my own, and I don't want to spend the money to purchase the pre-made ones. So this is my attempt at making my own dungeon tiles. I've never crafted anything like this before. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I think it's gonna be a blast. I thought it'd be interesting to document my process of me learning how to do this. So, this is me, unfiltered, just doing my thing. Before I start, let's show you some of the tools, materials I'm gonna be using to do this. I picked up some Mod Podge. I'm going to be making Black Magic Craft style Mod Podge, or just black colored Mod Podge with some black paint. I have my knife. It is a, if you're interested in what kind of knife this is, it is a Husky brand dual knife. It is a standard, like, I think it's a 4-inch pocket knife. And then the other side is my X-Acto knife, I guess. Utility knife is, I think is what it's referred to as technically, as utility knife. It's very nice, it's very sturdy, it's good to hold in the hand. It clips on, I like to carry it with me. I have a ball of aluminum foil for texturing. Paper towel for keeping the area clean. I of course have my XPS foam. That stuff is super cheap. The sheets you get of that stuff, it's like a 4x, actually it's, the stuff I got ended up being like a 6, or it was a 4x8 sheet, and it's massive. I had to cut it down in the store to get it to fit in my car, and it was super windy. So I had to ask permission to open up a knife in the store, and I felt uncomfortable, and it was just a whole ordeal. But it's super cheap. A 4x8 is 36 square feet of this stuff, and so I have lots of room for error and learning. I tried initially. I did purchase a big square of like 1 inch thick. That was just too thick, it didn't work. I still have that foam. I'm gonna try and use it for something else, maybe using it to like make scatter terrain or something. And then the stuff that I did get is 1/2 inch thick. I picked these Deco Art basic craft paints up at Hobby Lobby. It was like 15 bucks for all of these, so not expensive in any way. Picked myself up a square, so I can make sure I get those nice straight cuts and lines. I have this big brush for painting. Obviously this is what I'm going to use to put the Mod Podge on. I'll make sure to rinse it off really quick as soon as I'm done putting the Mod Podge. Helps if I could speak with my words. Mod Podge on. And then I'll also be using it for just general texture, or general painting. For texturing, I do have some sponges, which are right over there. They're off camera. I don't feel like going to grab them right now. They're Scotch-Brite brand. I have no idea if this is going to work out. I hope it will. I've never really done like this kind of detailed painting before, so I haven't done much painting before in general, actually. Whatever. And then I don't have a cutting mat, which is something I need to get. But in lieu of a cutting mat, I'm going to cut off a square of this foam here, and then I'm going to use a wet paper towel on the countertop, which will then allow me to put the square of the XPS foam down, and I can use that as a makeshift cutting mat until I can get an A1 size cutting mat ordered. And then I have seen some questions about tiles sliding around. That was a big concern for me. Tiles sticking together, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna try doing something. I don't know if it's going to work. I have watched videos on how to make them like modular or with connecting pieces. Wylock's system is very interesting. Looks very sturdy. I'm not sure how sturdy it will be if I do it with the XPS foam with the chipboard bottoms. I did also get a sheet of chipboard to test that out, or maybe try that style of tile. I'm not really sure, but my attempt to solve the issue of them sticking together and being modular enough where I can just put square to square and not have to have them centered every time is I got some wooden dowels that I think if I put between them, I can line them up. They'll stick together nice and firm and won't shift around too much. I'm not quite sure if that will work, but I guess we're gonna find out. So this is my attempt. I have no idea if it's gonna work. I'm gonna have fun with it either way. And I hope you enjoy watching me either succeed or fail or create something. Whatever it is, it should be fun. Alright, so we have a makeshift cutting mat. And something I found interesting about this XPS foam that I got, it had a thin layer of plastic on both sides. I didn't know that was a thing. So when I was cutting it apart at the store, it made it kind of difficult, but it peels right off, super easy. Just something a lot of people might not be aware of. So I need to square this, and I think the only actual flat edge I have that's actually properly flat is this edge over here. So what I need to do is I'm just gonna get a couple squares of this. Now I'm not sure, I think I might go 1.25 inches on each of these for the squares. Gives me a little bit of a wiggle room, and it just kind of makes it a little more, I'm not really sure. I just feel like 1.25 inches for each square is appropriate rather than just 1 inch. That can cause some issues, I would think. So I think this edge is the factory flat edge. And as you can see, my cut here, you can see probably right here. Oh, that's out of camera. Let me move it here. There's a little bit here that's showing. It's not very well cut. I'm just going to. Oh wait, this is my cutting board. This isn't what I'm cutting my edge out of. What am I doing? Oh, this is what I'm cutting my pieces out of. I think, yeah, this is the flat edge here. So I'm going to cut from here. I need my square over here. I'm not very good at this, so do not assume I'm even remotely decent at this. As you can see here, I'm not sure if it's on camera or not, because let's move over here a bit. I just want to keep this along the straight edge here. And where's my knife at? I am super unorganized. I think my knife is actually right there. Also, I shouldn't be keeping this open. This is how not good at this I am. So I'm just gonna go along my cut here until I get to the edge there. And I'll cut down, cut through here. No idea if that made it all the way through. I think it's square. Maybe. Where's my pencil at? I think it's underneath here. Yes, it is. All right. So I'm going 1.25 inches on each of the edges here. Let's just bring this up just a little bit. It would be 3 3/4 inch, which would be here, is where I'm looking for, right? And then we're gonna bring this back this way. Actually, I can just I need 1 3/4 inches here on this edge. I feel like this is not ideal here. It's gonna be here, right? Which is level here, right there. All right. So then for this, what I need to do is square this up here, right? Line that up. We're just gonna cut our way through this. Okay. Let's just cut all the way down the edge, or all the way down this edge here. There. And then let's go back here, straighten this up along this edge. If I look right, that should line up just about perfect. It's slightly off, but that's because this is my first time ever doing this. Cut all the way down here. Did it cut all the way through? I don't think it did. There we go. I think it went all the way through that time. Oh, that corner right there didn't cut very well, but that's okay. And not bad. And then I'll use this as a template to at least mark off the points. That should line up there and along there. See, that's not squared. I can tell just by looking at it. So these are not going to line up properly. Well, that's not too bad. So we're just going to mark this here. It's already cut all the way through there. Let's put my square up here and line that up. Go. Pulls it away. And we have our 2 squares to work with. Awesome. Set this down over here. Line up there. I can tell by looking at it. Let me zoom in here a bit. Focus up. It's not gonna line up super straight. Maybe if I flip it around. I mean, it's pretty close. It's good enough for my first try. I'll get better with this over time. So yeah. All right, so I need to texture these, right? Or do I cut them first and texture them after. Let me measure out the cuts here. Maybe I should have done this before, because I have no way of, because that is definitely not square. I mean, it's close. How do I do this? Let's see here. So I guess I'm gonna have to do that, maybe. And then that gives me at least something to work with, work off of, and get guesstimates. 1.25 inches. And then from there to there's 1.25 inches. That to there, that's 4 inches. So something's not right here. Okay, so this is definitely too thick that way. And too thick that way. So we're going to need to cut this down. There's that there. Okay, so it's fine there, on there, so it's a little bit bigger on each side. You know what, I'm gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. So let's just do this side. All right, so let's try 1.25 inches here. And then 1.25 inches here. And then that's a little bit big on that side, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. I can make it work. And then we need to do this side here. 1.25 inches here. 1.25 inches here. I mean, it's not too far off. Might as well measure it all the way around just to make sure. I mean, try and line those up as much as possible so that they at least look kind of square. I'm going to have to count from this one. Oh. That's about the same, so 1.25 inches. It's a little bit off there, okay. 1.25 inches. There. Yeah, that'll work. Let's do this side here. Oh, that is not a straight cut at all. Oof, oof. You can tell that I've never done this before. 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches. There we go. So let's just leave it like that. We're going to throw this down. Grab my knife. Line this up here. And I can actually just get all the way through this. Do not cut towards yourself. That's a bad idea. That's just never a good thing. So let's line that up there, and we're just going to cut a shallow line all the way through on both of these. There we go. Same on this. Here. Line these two dots up. get these up to back, to side, cut all the way through on both of them. Okay, we'll rotate these. Let's line these up here. Whoa, that was not being held tight enough. Okay, line that back up. Let's put this down here. All right, from there to there. That is definitely not straight. I guess I'm just going to be guesstimating here. Sure, I guess. This is definitely not a professional job. All right. There's a bit of variance. It's definitely not straight. That's okay. So I'm gonna try two different techniques on these. One, I'm gonna deepen this with a mechanical pencil, and then the other one, I'm gonna try and kind of carve out at an angle and see how the differences look. So I'm just gonna deepen this one here with my mechanical pencil here. Just run that through there a couple times. I don't know how well that's actually going to deepen it, but yeah, it's definitely visible. This one, I'm going to try cutting. Hey! Sorry about that, mute. I've got a pup here who's deciding to wants to be loud. I'm going to try cutting away at an angle some of this here to make this deeper. And I have no idea how well this is going to turn out. It doesn't have to be exact because it's like stone. It's supposed to be like stonework, but stonework isn't always perfect unless it's dwarven. So yeah, be careful about that. Okay, there's an angled cut there. Let's do an angled cut here. There we go. I think I might like the way this looks more. It's definitely going to give me more of a defined look. This is just me experimenting. Okay, get these little bits there out, and this bit here. Angled cut this way. There we go. Definitely takes more time, but not that much more. Angled cut here. Yeah, get out of here. Come on, let's go. This is definitely not going to be dwarven stonework. Okay, angled cut here. Didn't I cut all the way through? There it goes. So know if I cut all the way through on this portion. Let's try. There we go. There, and we'll cut here. There we go. Not bad looking. The one on the right definitely has a cleaner look to it. This one definitely looks cleaner than this one. At least my right, possibly your left. I don't know. All right, so now that we have that portion done, let's texture it. I have no idea how well this is going to work. Roll this over it. I mean, that's working really well. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Let's try just doing some hard punches on the end with this. Kind of like how that's looking. Just gonna keep rotating it. It's gonna look too samey across the entire. You don't want like a constant pattern across the whole thing. If I chunk out some of it, really, it's not that big of a deal. Alright. This one's definitely more pot marked. I think that'll look real nice. Alright. Why not? No idea what I'm doing here, so I have no idea how much black I'm going to need to make this a dark color. Just going to put a bunch of black in here. I probably won't need too much. Okay, let's grab a dowel. This is going to be a terrible stirring stick. Yeah, that's a terrible stirring stick. Let's put you on there. What am I going to stir this with? You know what? Let's try the old shake method. Let's see how that works out for us. Shake. I mean, it's working. See how that worked out. It's a nice gray color, but I definitely need some more black. Let's use this to at least get it going. So all the black isn't just like at the top. And this is a matte finish Mod Podge. I have no idea if that's the correct stuff. It's what I'm using. Yeah. All right. Let's see. That should be dark enough, I would think. Let's grab my brush. And let's start painting these. Alright, so camera died. Camera died anyways. The battery on the camera died. As you can tell though, I got some gloves. So that was good. I probably shouldn't be applying this with a brush now that I think about it. I should probably be doing this with like a, what's it called? Well, a brush made for this kind of glue. They're the like foam brushes, I guess, rather than like an actual brush. Because then you don't get like all the streaks and stuff under the base coat, but that's fine. That's really not that big of a deal. Okay. Let's get this on the sides here. All right. Put that down there. This is a little thick on here. Let's spread that out a bit more. Shouldn't be too bad. Find the areas here that aren't like fully coated. Alright, let's get my gloves rinsed off and the brush before the brush starts drying. Alright, and we're back. It's been about 30 minutes. Actually about 45 actually, and these are actually looking pretty awesome. I can't really, you can see a good amount of texture there. Some of the pink is still showing through, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I'm just gonna give it a nice texture to it there. And then we have this one. This is the pencil one. You can definitely see the grooves there. It's not as in-depth grooves, but I kind of like the wearing on this one a bit more. But the grooves on this one are just so much nicer. So, all right, now it's time to get them painted. So, I'm gonna need different levels of gray. And I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. I've got a sponge here that I'm thinking about using, maybe a brush. I'll definitely dry brush with some white at the very end. So I'm actually just gonna use, because I'm not probably gonna be using this foam makeshift matte hole too much. At least not until I get my A1 cutting mat. However, this does work nice because I can just use the mat itself as my kind of paint palette. We're gonna lighten that up. Ooh, this cap on this white is broken. So you kind of get what you pay for. We're just gonna add just a little bit of white to this gray. Just so we can get some different variations. I need some white at the very end. There. I'm gonna get some more gray, add a little black to it, make it a little bit darker, so we can get kind of a lot of depth. A little bit more. There we go. Add a little black to that gray. Just a smidge. All right. Let's use one of these here. We're gonna stir this up. Don't have a paint. I should get a paint knife. See, it's a little bit lighter. It'll be nice. Let's use the other side. I'm going to start dark. We're going to go lighter and lighter. So I have no idea how well this is going to work out. Again, I am a complete novice when it comes to painting, so I have no clue how well this is going to work. Again, I'm wearing gloves because I don't like my hands getting too dirty. So I'm going to just try, because I'm not as fond of this one, I'm going to try the sponge method with this one first, because I'm not sure how well the sponge method's going to work out. So I'm going to get some of this on here. I'm going to dab that off. We're just going to, I just don't want it too thick in it's not too bad. Like some spots are going to be much darker, but that's fine. Or much more filled in, but that's fine. I actually really like this. It looks really natural for stone. Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. So I guess what I want to do here is get most of the paint off of the sponge, and then just slowly kind of layer it on. So paint. So there we have it. My very first two-piece set. My first dungeon tiles I've ever made. And you know what? They're not half bad. I actually kind of like them a lot. Definitely I'm going to go with the angled gouge because you get a more defined line. Let me see. Yeah, because this looks really good. So let's, we're gonna call it there. I've got 2 dungeon tiles. I've really enjoyed making them. It was a lot of fun. They turned out better than I expected them to. I expected to just like fail hard, have it just not work at all. But it's not difficult. I've never done this before. I swear, I have never done this before. This one is definitely lighter in color than this one. This one has more dark highlights to it. So I definitely need to work on my brushing technique or my painting technique, but the gouges on this, or the lines on this one, is they're just so much more defined. So that's the style I'm going to go with because I really liked how that looks. I'm actually really impressed with myself. Like, I didn't expect it to turn out this good. It's really that simple. It's so easy. And even if they're not perfectly squared, that's totally fine. They don't have to be perfectly squared. It's just for fun. So I have my very first dungeon tiles. I've never owned dungeon tiles up until this point. I'm really looking forward to a bunch more projects. I want to make like all kinds of terrain. I want to make trees. I want to make hills. I want to make like skull things and houses and buildings and walls and ruins, and I'm just so excited to get into this. And I hope you guys enjoy the journey with me because I'm loving it so far. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.